This is Ray Johnson. Ray spent a lot of time trained as an attorney, and then spent a lot of time at FBI. I'm going to let him tell the story some, but dangerous person, those attorneys. Those attorneys are dangerous people. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. What would you share a few bullet points or how you think about your life or career or areas of interest, just to give them a bit of context?
Sure. Yeah, I was young. I wanted to become an FBI agent. It's one of those things where when you have a clear channel to a path where you want to go, you focus on that and you're relentless about getting there. And so about 21 years ago, I joined the FBI, spent a long career in Atlanta, Detroit, overseas in Ukraine, came to Las Vegas, ran the criminal and administrative programs for a long while, saw a lot of stuff, learned a lot of things with a couple of moments along the way where it's like, I still can't believe I'm an FBI agent doing what I'm doing. And then you look back on sort of the history of where you've come from and how you got there, and there's some very simple things you do along the way to make sure you get there, which is basically just relentless addiction to consistent performance. Just do what you do constantly. I retired from the FBI a couple of years ago and have been doing some consulting, some working, and maintaining that same level of just what you need is talk to the folks, do the right thing for the right reasons, and the right things will happen consistently.
We were having a nasty conversation last night of just some of the harsh realities of, predators and victims, I guess, sort of that contrast to people that are, willfully naive about not thinking about their safety or security or not thinking about their financial future for that matter. People that are not very good at planning ahead or anticipating things, what might come next.
Yep.
And they get stuck in the moment and think, everything's okay, everything's good. And they're very, very unprepared, in my opinion, to deal with things that are not so good. So in your career, what are, a couple things that you could talk about that are not so good things that an awareness might protect some of these people from getting themselves harmed or their families harmed or whatnot?
Mm-hmm. Great point. One thing that I've been leading a lot with recently, especially with the advent of social media. Back when I was younger, we didn't have as much social media. I had this thing called email when I first started college, and it was random. Now, talking to a professor is random, right? They prefer emails. Oftentimes, I'll see somebody walking through a parking lot. I'll see somebody buried in their phone. They're not situationally aware of anything, right? So you're walking into a crowd and you don't even know who's in the parking lot. You may not even know if somebody stands up to go walking next to you. Could be innocuous, could be something that doesn't mean anything, but you should know if they're there, right? So you can take appropriate action. One of the things I've talked to with a lot of young folks is when you see something that just causes the hair on the back of your neck to stand up, that's centuries of evolution, right? Listen to that and pay attention to that. Even if they're very charming, if they're very collegial, they're talking to you, your body's trying to protect you from something. Could be they're asking you something, you're just uncomfortable with the person. We're not assigning value to what it is, but recognizing that and paying attention to what your body's telling you. And then just noticing what's in your environment. That's the biggest thing. If you walk out of a hotel, you walk into a parking lot, put your phone away. What's so important from the exit door to your car that you can't look around and see what's in the room? I mean, I think that's a pretty broad level takeaway that I would say is that a lot of people aren't paying attention to that because they're so used to doing everything on their phone. And even I know how to walk from here to that door or here to my car, but I don't know if there's a pothole that I'm going to fall down for. I don't know if somebody's going to attack me. So giving yourself that advantage of recognizing, I don't need this right now. I need to get from point A to point B. I need to do it in such a way that allows me to be safe and comfortable doing it. So I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I've learned in 20 years is situational awareness has to be a primary goal every time you step out of your home, your office, anywhere you're at.
If I do one of two things. If I'm by myself and I need to use my phone in a public place, I put my back against a wall.
I think it's great.
I like to be in, I'd like to have, now I have 180 degrees to worry about, not 360, yeah?
Yep.
And I don't have my phone here. I'll tend to have my phone higher up, so I have more peripheral awareness here rather than, only here but not in front of me. And, I was never trained that way. I just try to be aware of what are the best practices to engage in so stupid doesn't happen to you that's avoidable,
No, right.
Stupid can still happen to you. But like the things that are avoidable or anticipatable, like let's not allow those stupid things to happen to you, you know? If I'm with somebody else, I'll tend to not touch my phone at all because I trust my awareness more than their awareness, and I'll instruct them, it's a client or friend, whoever, you know, hey, look, we're going to do a Google search or something, so look this up, type that into Uber, go to this page, you know, go to this or that, or something that needs to be done on the phone. Whoever's with me is going to do that, and I'd rather be the person that's aware. That's in the broad daylight and anywhere, wherever I'm at. You know, that's not like, oh, I'm in a dangerous place. It's like, no, any place can be a dangerous place very quickly if you're not aware of what the f is going on, you know?
That's exactly right.
I think we made a comment yesterday that, you know, like when something awful happens in your life is like, you know, oh, how was the rest of that day? What was going on that day? It's like, no, it was just a normal day.
Yeah.
And then something changed. And you might never be able to change it back to how it was, you know? So I think is very important what you said. Like, what are some of the consequences that, you know, I'm not asking you to say any personal or any, you know, identifying details, but what are things that happen to people when they're not situationally aware?
Oh, you know, it's, you know, not only are you going to be more at risk for, you know, somebody attacking you, stealing your money, especially folks that might get kidnapped or, you know, get into a situation. Those are the kind of things that, you know, you made a great point about, like, if I do have to check my phone, I have it up here. I was a trained law enforcement for 10 years before I joined the FBI. And I always had my radio right here, not because it's easier, it is, but if I'm engaging with somebody and they decide to have a bad intent and come at me, I have a fighting chance. I want my personal space. Is anybody ever really comfortable when they're that close? No, that's something you leave for your loved ones. That's a hug. If I'm talking to somebody professionally, especially somebody that's going to try and hurt me, I want at least 6 feet. They can close the distance before I can engage, right? And so I want to give myself that fighting chance. There is no bad area, right? They're all bad areas. You know, it's a matter of that snapshot when it happens, as you mentioned, perfect advice. And so those are the kind of things that can happen, and recognizing that you're able to protect yourself, I think that gives you the confidence. Confident people are a hard target. If you're walking around and you own the world, you own the room you're walking into, I'm not going to attack you even if I have bad intent. I'm going to attack the weak. Own everything, own your world, recognize that you're not a victim. Professional victims are the ones that get attacked often. Right? If you're not a professional victim and you're a professional, you know, person consistently following these rules that you're learning and you're working on, you're going to save yourself a lot of grief down the road. Like whether it's something as simple as getting your wallet stolen or something even more egregious, right? So, but recognizing your surroundings and understanding where the exits are. You know, if something happens, I know full well that there's always somebody that's going to beat you. There's always somebody that's better than you, faster than you, bigger than you. But I always know that there's an exit there. There's an exit there. I can get away from that, and I can live to fight another day. And I said, so thinking about that area and making sure that you have that situational awareness, I think is paramount.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.